With the regular season over for both basketball teams, the Big 12 tournaments can finally begin. With a 12-game winning streak, how will Tadlock and his crew prepare for Mississippi State? And our first badly blown call in the XFL. How detrimental was this? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans, and welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Austin Seaton.
And I'm Ryan Heller. Texas Tech basketball fell to the Kansas Jayhawks on Saturday, 66-62, losing their fourth game in a row. The Red Raiders held on for as long as they could, but eventually the Jayhawks shut them down. They will now get ready for the Big 12 Conference Tournament, which starts on Wednesday. They will go in as the 5 seed and will face the 4th seed Texas Longhorns on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Austin, what do they need to do to have any success in the Big 12 tournaments?
I think they have to win. I think they got to at least win games. And I think if they make a conference final appearance, I think they'll do really well to solidify their spot in the seed. Maybe get a little bit higher. Because as of right now, I project them at a 9 to an 11 seed if the season ended today. Because you beat number 1 Louisville. At the time you beat number 14 West Virginia. Excuse me. You're the national champion runner-up. You've been close with a bunch of number 1 and from teams from number 1 to number 5.
A lot of teams that are in the top 25, we have fought tooth and nail with them, like Iowa and DePaul and Creighton.
Iowa, DePaul, Creighton. You also have Kansas, who we only lost to 4 and 5 in our 2 games against them. Baylor, we only lost, I think. Put it into overtime in the second game and then lost by 5 in the first game. So I think that Tech, if they did it right now, would be a 9 to an 11 seed. I think if they make a big push in the conference tournament, they can get higher.
But their problem is they can't win in the clutch.
But even if they don't do well, I still think they're going to make the tournament because they have and some people say they're going to be a bubble team. No, they're not. They don't. Their resume is not the resume of a bubble team. I mean, you can't beat a number 1 ranked team and a number 14 ranked team and be close to other top ranked teams and be a bubble team. It's just not possible.
Well, I think one thing they need to do is
especially after the season that this has been for the NCAA.
One thing they need to do is they need to start being more clutch. They need to start winning in the clutch because a lot of these ranked teams, they should have beaten them, and last year's team would have come out on top on them.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, we lost last year 4 starters. And like these were starters that played a lot of games. Now, like Mooney and Owens didn't play a lot of them at Texas Tech, but they started at least over 100 games.
Yeah.
And that is hard to replace. That experience is hard to replace.
Yeah, it is.
And it's been showing a lot this year with a lot of the loss in the clutch. And I think that hopefully Ramsey and Shannon, they stay. And then they can get more experience, and I think that they will be better in this next year.
You have that, but you also have a lot of other freshmen. You have I cannot think of the Russian's name.
McCullough. Oh, no, Savrasov.
Savrasov. You have McCullough.
Chiwa will be back next year. Hopefully he can be a factor.
Yeah, you also have I did see a lot of promise coming out of the Frenchman.
Nadonli, and maybe he can be used in the tournament.
Yeah.
I think that
not to mention the next freshman that's coming up. You have Moretti coming back. You have Edwards possibly coming back. So
yeah, I think they have the talent to go far in the tournament. The problem is, will they? That's going to be the question.
I agree with that. Well, Texas Tech baseball continued their winning streak this weekend as they swept the Rice Owls, winning and coming from behind. In the game Saturday and Sunday. They won 7-1 on Friday, 9-12 on Saturday, and 7-6 yesterday in 11 innings. They will now head out to Biloxi, Mississippi for a 2-game midweek series against the Mississippi State Bulldogs, one of the teams that joined them in Omaha last year. So Ryan, what's your take on this weekend series, and how do they keep up that success against Mississippi State?
Well, for starters, I am very impressed on how they were able to come from behind 2 games in a row. By the way, the Saturday game, that was a baseball score. I don't care. No. Actually, that was a football score. I don't care what anyone says. But the fact that they were down at one point 8-2, and then they were able to get 2 consecutive 5-run innings, it shows the resiliency of this team. And also they were down at one point, I believe, 6-1 yesterday, and was able to win with a walk-off by a redshirt freshman, no less, who didn't start any games last year. a very unlikely hero in TJ Rumfield. So I like that. What I was concerned about was the starting pitching in games Saturday and Sunday, specifically Bryce Bonham. He only pitched an inning and 2/3 Saturday because he was just getting shellacked. He had to get out of there.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm very impressed with Ryan Sublett, who, let's face it, has not always had the best command. But he was able to hold it down for 3 innings to keep them in the game, which I thought was very impressive on his part. And I was really just impressed by how they kept plugging, they kept fighting through, and that's what impressed me.
It's showing how the offense has really improved under Tadlock since last year.
It has.
And I mean, I agree with you. I'm actually Saturday is, in my opinion, I agree with him. Saturday is a football Saturday is a football score. Changed my mind about that.
19-12 for those who don't know.
But Sunday you could argue 7-6. I mean, it's not a common football score. But I'm actually shocked the Sunday game went into 11 innings. I would have thought the Saturday game would have gone into 11, because of how high the score was. But
yeah, that was definitely very, very interesting to watch. Now, I wasn't able to watch a lot of the Saturday game because I was at the basketball game, and then I went to the softball game because I'd never been. I wanted to go to a softball game.
Yeah.
But like from the highlights that I saw, it was truly remarkable to see how they were able to come back from that. But what I'm impressed with is the combination. This showed on Friday, the combo of
excuse me.
Bless you. Between Clayton Beater for 6 innings and Micah Dallas for 3. By this time I thought Micah Dallas would be one of the starters back in the starting rotation because he was such an efficient starter last year and was one of the reasons we got to Omaha. But he's been doing very well in that 3-inning rotation along with Clayton Beater for 6. I thought that's been very impressive. I think that if they can keep that going, they can win another top 10 matchup on the road with Mississippi State.
Well, that'll be a good one to watch, my friend.
Yeah. Oh. Well, Texas Tech women's basketball defeated the Oklahoma Sooners on Saturday, 106-94. The Lady Raiders played the Sooners even through the first quarter, but they erupted on them in the second quarter, outscoring them 29-14. After that, they never lost control and were able to seal the victory. They will now head out to Kansas City for the Big 12 Conference Tournament, which will start on Thursday. The Lady Raiders go into the tournament as the 7th seed and will face the 10th seed Kansas Jayhawks on Thursday. Austin, what do they need to do to have any success in the Big 12 tournament and possibly sneak into the NCAA tournaments?
Well, first of all, I know we had a brain fart at the beginning of that segment, so.
Well, not the first time.
It is what it is. It's Monday, folks. But as for what I think they're going to need to do to win, I think they lost their first game 50-67, and then I believe, they won the second matchup 89-72. So I think they need to look at the film from the second matchup, at least against Kansas, and then they need to repeat a lot of that stuff because whatever it was, it worked. So I think that it's obviously been a very successful season for the Lady Raider basketball team.
Huge 9-day difference compared to last year and the year before that.
Yeah,
huge.
Agreed. So, but I think going up against Kansas, I think you're going to have to look at the second game, which I don't know if it was played here or at home. I can't really find out, but wherever it was, you need to figure out where exactly, because in Kansas City, this is essentially
sort of a home game because it's Lawrence, Kansas. I mean, kind of, but like if that was really a big factor, then the Kansas Jayhawks, both men and women, would be winning the conference championship every single year.
True. That is true. So, but I mean, but it's going to be interesting to see how Tech plays in the tournament because at least. I mean, they were undefeated preseason.
Yeah,
they were undefeated preseason, and then from what I saw, they had a little. There was inconsistency. In the Big 12 conference play. Yeah. So like you go undefeated, and then you lose your first game to Iowa State. So
now like we're not making excuses for them. The Big 12, in both men and women, is a very tough conference. We're not making excuses for them, but they needed to be more consistent.
Yeah.
Conference play.
Well, like when you look at some of their schedules, like you have 80. Like, okay, let me find a good one. Okay, so Oklahoma State. I think it was at Oklahoma State or here. You win 109-79.
Yeah.
And then you go to Kansas, and then you lose 70-84, and then you play Texas, and you lose 81-66. So you go from winning by 30 to losing by 14 and 15, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's that inconsistency that isn't going to win you games in the conference championships, especially when it's for a NCAA tournament bid.
Yeah, when you're a 7th seed, it's going to be hard enough to get in as it is. So they need to make sure that they can come out there on top on there.
Yep. Well, this weekend there was some controversy in the XFL between the Houston Roughnecks and the Seattle Dragons. The game ended in controversy when referees called the game over 2 seconds early on 4th and 23. Houston quarterback P.J. Walker was told to kill the final 4 seconds of the game. However, he took a knee with 2 seconds left on the clock rather than throwing the ball away, out of bounds. Seattle, who was down 32-23, should have gotten the ball back on the Roughnecks' 21-yard line. So, Ryan, what's your take on the situation, and how do you think this will damage the new XFL?
Well, I don't think this. Well, if the ratings were plummeting like it did with the AAF and the other XFL, I would say it would hurt it tremendously. But I think that they can return from this. But that was very poor because honestly, now I didn't watch it until later yesterday because I did watch the game. I figured that was automatic. They're going to be the only undefeated team, 5-0. So I turned the game off with like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I thought the game was done. But then this happened, and but this was very interesting to me because it was 4th and 23. Not like it was 3rd and 23. It was 4th and 23. So if he took a knee, if he actually did take a knee, which it looked like he did, the clock should have stopped with 2 seconds left. Mm-hmm. And then it was at the 21-yard line. So I'm not saying it was going to happen, but at least you give them at least a chance.
With Seattle, yeah, you do give Seattle a chance, especially on a Houston's own 25. Beat it, they're up by 9. But
so they would need a touchdown and a 3-point conversion.
You do have the 3-point conversion. That's what I'm saying. So there could have been a possibility that this would have not had the outcome would have been the same no matter what.
But you give them a chance.
We don't know about fate here, but you have, if there's 2 seconds left on the clock and they need it on 4th and 23, you have to give them a shot at it because there is still time on the clock and it's a dead ball. But what I loved, and I do agree with you, I don't think this will damage the XFL as much as people would think it will. I did read a statement that the XFL did apologize, saying that the refs got it wrong. So that's a start. I think the previous AAF and the previous XFL didn't do that, or they wouldn't have made something like that. So I think that is a step in the right direction for the XFL, and I think that because they've had such the steady ratings,
they have.
They've had really good games.
They have.
And then they're able to make an apology statement like this. It's showing that they're taking notes from the NFL and they're treating it more like somewhat of a business aspect of it, rather than an entertainment show. Yeah,
because it looked to me like but I do hope that they learn from this because the least they could have done is at least the refs stay to review it or something or check something out. But like from what it looked like to me, the refs just walked off. They said game over, and I can hear in the video, I can hear the commentators saying, "What are they doing? What are they doing? There's 2 seconds left. Yeah. Why are the refs leaving?" And they even interviewed one of the guys, one of the members of the committee after, and they were just jumping down his throat because all he was saying was, "There's nothing we can do now," and they were just completely jumping down his throat.
Well, no, okay, now okay. Before we move on to this, to who you got, I would like to make this point. That is not true. The XFL should have taken control of that because the NFL's done that in the past with a few games where sorry Browns fans, but the Browns-Jaguars game, which was for a playoff push, fans were throwing stuff on the field and they went back, interviewed a replay, which shouldn't have been interviewed because they already ran a play, which was basically throw it down. So they went back and reviewed it, and then because it got overturned, which was true, he did not catch the ball. Fans were throwing stuff on the field. They say that is the game. The NFL made them go back out there and finish the game. So the XFL, I think, needs to take a few notes from that and do that because if you let the refs control the game, it's not going to be fun for anybody.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, let us know in the comments what y'all think. Well, now it's time for who you got. To start off, we have the Dallas Mavericks versus the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday. Ryan, who you got?
Well, originally I wanted to pick the Nuggets, but it just looks to me like they've been faltering a little bit. I mean, like if you look at the standings, Denver's won only 5 of the last 10 games. So because of that, I'm going to go with the Mavericks.
Ooh.
Believe me, this is not something I wanted to do. I wanted to pick the Nuggets. I think they are the better team, but they haven't been the better team the last week. They haven't been
showing it as of.
They haven't been showing it as of at least the last week and a half. So I think that the Mavericks will take advantage of that. But I mean, like Dallas' first 3 points made. They're fourth in rebounds, they're third in turnovers, and right now that they are, and also right now, with Denver struggling, I think it also helps that Dallas is playing in Dallas. It's a home field advantage thing, so I'm going to pick the Mavericks.
Well, see, I was the same way as you, but I'm the opposite way. I was originally going to pick Dallas to win this game. I think that Dallas has been playing very well with Luka, Porzingis, and then all of them. But I think that the Denver Nuggets are going to look at these next few games, especially the one here in Dallas, and say this is a must-win for Denver, because right now they're still the second seed in the West. If the Clippers don't pass them up here soon, because they're playing really good basketball.
Because right now they have passed up.
Have they?
One is the Lakers, two is the Clippers, and then three is the Nuggets.
Okay, well, how many games behind are the Nuggets? About
that? Looks like they're only game behind.
Okay, so they're only a game behind. So I think that Denver needs to see this as a must-win. They're in the playoffs, but I think they need to be in that number 2 spot to get either Dallas or who's the other, or the Thunder or the Grizzlies in that playoff spot for the first round. And I think that you're right. They've been playing a little bit lackluster in their last 10, or they've only won because of the last 5 out of 10 games that they've won. Yeah. And I think they use this as a rebounding game.
Oh, okay. Well,
and as much as it pains me to say that, I do agree with you. I think that Denver is the better team in this situation. If the Mavericks still had Dwight Powell for the season, then I would have said the Mavericks. But I think I'm going to go with Denver on this one.
Wow. So you were the first one to have picked the team that picked against the team that's your favorite. You were the first of us to do that.
If we want to go into this as an actual job, we have to be what is it, unbiased?
Unbiased.
Yeah, we have to be unbiased at some point. So I'm going to go with the Denver Nuggets.
All right. Well, I am very impressed. Now, up next, we have the Boston Celtics facing off against the Milwaukee Bucks on Thursday. Austin, what do you got?
This is looking to be a 1 versus 3 or 3 seed matchup.
This is a good game.
This is going to be a very good game. I'm going to go with the Celtics on this one.
I can kind of see that a little bit. Yeah,
I'm going with the Celtics on this one because I think they want that number 2 spot over the Toronto Raptors. Sorry, and I think Jason Tatum's been playing very well. The team chemistry is being very what's the word I'm looking here for?
Consistent.
Consistent. Yeah, there we go. I looked at the game they played against the Lakers, and they played really well against the Lakers. And I really hope, and I'm not just saying this, I really hope that it's a LA Laker and then Clipper or Celtics final. But I'm still predicting that it's going to be a Bucks Lakers final. But I've got the Celtics on this one.
I don't know why, but I want the Bucks and the Clippers. Well, but I'm going to pick the Bucks on this one.
Well, the Bucks haven't failed you yet.
They have not failed me yet.
Oh, that's another reason why I'm picking the Celtics, because I want to beat him when he picks the Bucks.
The Clippers and the Bucks are the 2 teams that have not failed me yet.
Yeah, so and I want to see your face when you lose. But yeah,
it's probably just going to be the same like this. I'm going to be like.
We probably won't care either way.
I'll be smelling, but I'll be dying on the inside. But no, so
just don't go off on a rant. We'll be fine.
Hey man, Bucks aren't a Houston team, so I'm not going to go on a rant.
Houston Astros.
We can't be friends no more. Well, okay, look, man. The Bucks are leading in scoring. They are second in field goal percentage, and also they're first in total rebounds. Now, actually, both teams are going off a 2-game losing streak. But here's where I think the difference is going to show. I think the fact that it's going to be in Milwaukee. I think home field advantage is key when you're coming off a 2-game losing streak, and so is your opponent. I think that is key. So I'm going to go with the Bucks.
Oh, interesting, my friend.
Plus also...
The Bucks have never failed you yet.
Yes. Plus also Giannis, turns out he does have skill for a 7-footer. Turns out he does.
I thought that was apparent by now.
Well, you never know.
Where have you been living for the past 2 years?
Well, under what's it called, a rock.
Okay, fair enough. Up next, we have an NHL matchup between the Tampa Bay Lightning going up against the Philadelphia Flyers on Thursday. Ryan, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Lightning on this one. I think that, basically, this is a top matchup. I mean, obviously they're both in different conferences. This is an interconference matchup, but Tampa Bay is a 2nd seed, and so is
Philadelphia.
Yeah, so is Philadelphia. So this is a 2 versus 2 matchup, and Tampa Bay along with Boston are the only 2 teams to have a total of 92 over 90 points. Those are the 2 dominant teams right now. And I think going into the playoffs, Tampa Bay is not going to get swept by a 4 seed again, but yeah. Lightning is leading in scoring, they're leading in assists, and in shooting percentage. All 3 of those. They have shown that they have been one of the best teams in the league, and there's a reason why they're one of the favorites to make it to the Stanley Cup. I'm going to go with the Lightning.
All right then. I will say, folks, if you're wondering what this is hockey, and this is I believe this is the first time we've done this on a Who You Got segment.
Yeah, I figured because the NHL playoffs is only a month away. I figured why not?
NHL playoffs, NCAA tournament, NBA playoffs are coming up.
Yeah.
And even the XFL championship is coming up soon. So got a lot of action for you folks. Well, as far as for this game, I'm gonna go. I don't know much about hockey other than the Dallas Stars, but I do keep up with it a little bit. So I'm gonna go with the Philadelphia Flyers on this one.
I get that.
And the main reason I say that is because I've been watching a few highlights of them, and they look like a complete team. They're only one win or one. I think the Lightning is only one win ahead.
I think the two losses. Tampa Bay's got 43, and Philadelphia either has 41 or 42.
Yeah. Well, and
so it's
like,
an even
as far as wins, I think like Tampa Bay has 45, Philadelphia has 43, something like that. But I think that the Philadelphia, I mean, you are right. This is a two seed versus 2 seed matchup. It's going to be a great hockey game, and I really look forward to the fights in that game because it's the only sport that allows you to do it still. But,
yes, I like that too.
but yeah, I think Philadelphia is going to come out on top on this one.
Okay, we'll certainly see. We'll see. I expect a good game. Well, to finish off, we have Manchester City against Arsenal on Wednesday in, I believe, the Premier League.
Correct.
Austin, who you got?
Well, it's been a while since we've done a soccer game for Who You Got.
We're so sorry about that, AD.
Yeah, AD's watching, like, shaking his fist at us like you. But the reason for that is because they've been through their break. But I'm going to go with Arsenal on this one. Arsenal hasn't been doing well this year as they've been doing in the past. Usually they're in the top 5, top 6. This year they're down at number 9. They're facing Manchester City, who's ranked number 2, or who's number 2 in the table right now, looking to go to the Champions League for next year. I don't know if they're still in the Champions League tournament. I'll have to double check on that one. But I think, in soccer, anything can happen. It's not like football, basketball, where this team is obviously better. Soccer, anything can happen. You can have a 10th, somebody at the bottom of the table win at the top of the table. It's just you have to take it at a week-to-week basis. But I've got Arsenal winning this one. They look with their new manager and the team's looking refreshed and new. I think they're going to come out on top.
Well, for the first time in this show for Who You Got, we agree. I'm going to go with Arsenal as well.
Okay.
I think they're due for a win like this. Plus, also, I like that they've won 4 of their last 5. They're 4th in the entire league in saves with 104. So, by the way, bravo for Bernd Leno. He's doing a very good job. And also, I like Pierre-Emerick. He's leading in goals so far all around. Plus, also Nicolas Pepe, you got him. He's like a wizard out there with the assists. So I think that they're gonna. I mean, I guess obviously Arsenal is not what they were. So like they're like going below.
There were some manager problems that they got rid of in the mid season.
But like I think that they can overcome this.
But it looks like this new manager has gotten them onto the right track heading into not only the end of this season but also next year.
And a win like this would definitely boost their confidence with him as well. I think that would.
I would agree with that, my friend. Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us after spring break for a look at more in sports.
I'm Ryan Heller.
And I'm Austin Seaton.
We will see you in 2 weeks.
How did you hit the light?
I have no clue.
You're amazing. You're doing amazing.